Hey guys, this is Sky Movie Superfan reporting from a hotel in London somewhere. I am delighted to be sitting opposite Lee Unkrich. Who is Lee Unkrich, you wonder? Well, he co-directed Finding Nemo, Toy Story 2, and was duly promoted to direct Toy Story 3 3D. Lee.
It's great to meet you.
How are you?
I'm fantastic, thanks.
Can you tell me a little bit about your role and the challenges 3D brought to the direction of this movie?
Sure. As you mentioned, I've been with Pixar for a long time, like 16 years, and I've been a part of a lot of the films that we've made, co-directed some of them, edited many of them, and Toy Story 3 is my directorial debut as solo director at the studio. So it was a responsibility I did not take lightly at all. I didn't want to disappoint anybody in the making of this film because I know how much people love Toy Story and Woody and Buzz, and I worked very, very hard for 4 years to make this film and make the best film I could. The 3D is interesting. We always knew that Toy Story 3 was going to be released in 3D, but I never really thought about the 3D much while I was making the film. I just wanted to make a good film and tell a good story. I knew that some people would see it in 3D and some people wouldn't, and I wanted it to work equally well for everybody. So I've got a fantastic team that does the whole conversion to 3D, but we really just focused on making a great film.
Going back to the 3D, I read that you mentioned that it's kind of like looking through the classic stereo slide viewer. And when I read that, I thought that's so true.
Yeah, that's what I've always liked about 3D. I've never been into the gimmickry of having things poke out of the screen into the audience. I find it distracting personally, and I think it takes people away from the movie, takes them out of it. I don't want people to be thinking about the 3D. I want them to be lost in the story that I'm telling. So we've definitely taken the approach of having a kind of an immersive world that goes backwards into the screen.
The story, very, very touching, kind of deals with life progressions.
Yeah, well, pretty much all three of the films have. I think that's part of why people have connected with the Toy Story films so much, is that in many ways they reflect our own experiences that we have going through our lives, and Toy Story 3 almost more so than even the first two.
How do you manage to balance these serious issues with so much humor?
Well, you know, we want the films to be touching, but they also need to be funny, right? Because people are ultimately coming to the theater to be entertained. So I think that's been a hallmark of all the films we've made at Pixar, is that we've tried to find a balance of everything. I want them to be funny and exciting and scary and emotional as well.
There's some really cool new characters in this one. I'll throw a few names out.
Sure.
You tell me what the actor brought to the table.
Okay.
Mr. Pricklepants.
Yes, Timothy Dalton, who's fantastic. I was a huge fan of Edgar Wright's film Hot Fuzz, which Tim was in, and I thought he was fantastic in it, and I thought he would be great as a fussy British thespian, lederhose-wearing hedgehog.
Ken.
Ken was played by Michael Keaton, who we had worked with on Cars. Michael is very, very funny, and he's great at improvisation, which is always a plus for us when we're working with actors. Michael loved playing Ken and made the part much funnier than we even dreamed it could be. We knew it was going to be funny, but Michael Keaton just kind of took it way beyond.
Barbie.
Barbie is played by Jodie Benson, who played Barbie in Toy Story 2, and her one of the things she's famous for is playing Ariel in The Little Mermaid. So she's been part of animation for a long time and had a blast playing Barbie again.
Stretch.
Well, Stretch is played by Whoopi Goldberg. Stretch is one of the supporting characters in the film, and Whoopi brought her kind of trademark sassiness to the part and had fun playing Stretch.
And finally, Lotso, Hugging Bear.
Yeah, Lotso is one of the main new characters in Toy Story 3, and he's this big, fat, fuzzy pink, strawberry-scented teddy bear who lives at Sunnyside Daycare, and he's played by Ned Beatty, who is an amazing character actor who's done great comedy in his career and also some really intense parts.
I remember him from Deliverance.
Well, that was his first film.
Yeah,
Deliverance was Ned's very first film. He was nominated for an Academy Award for the film Network. I mean, he's been around a long time, and he's really just a legend. You know, as we go through lives, we have to face a lot of change, big changes, and we wanted the toys to have to deal with very similar kinds of things in their own lives. And I think that's part of why people find the film so touching, because they can relate to it on that level.
Man, it was really touching, funny film.
Thank you. Good talking to you.
Brilliant.